Hi, this is the Be Well with Michelle Greenwell podcast. Our heartwarming conversation is designed to lift you on your wellness journey. Grab your cup of tea and enjoy the podcast. Welcome to Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell, and today's episode is from the ground up. Tai Chi, circulation, and bone deep healing. I'm going to invite you to join me on a journey inward, a journey that begins with a deep breath, a warm cup of Lucky Dragon tea, and a gentle unfolding of movement. Now, the Lucky Dragon tea reminds us, create a clear vision for outcome and then let go of your expectations. The journey is the reward. This is very specific because that clear vision is important for you to know where you're going. You got to set the GPS before you head off on your adventure. And then if you let go of your expectations, you find these beautiful nuggets along the way. And this is how our topic is going to come together today as well. The Lucky Dragon blend is a green tea. It's one of my favorites for intention setting. It opens the heart, sharpens the vision, and it prepares the body for transformational meaning. When it comes to health and well-being, we often start with what we know. The aches we want to soothe, the fatigue we want to relieve, the strength we want to build. But true healing begins not at the surface, but deep within. We must spark the enzymes of wellness that lie dormant, waiting for movement, breathing, and awareness to invite them into action. This is where Tai Chi enters as a gentle but powerful catalyst. Through spiral actions, weight shifts, and mindful postures, Tai Chi doesn't just soothe the muscles or calm the mind. It invigorates circulation, supports bone density, and activates bone marrow washing, a powerful process that renews our blood and deepens our life force. You don't have to know where your healing begins. You just need to be open to it. With grounded feet, soft joints, curious breath, and open awareness, your body will find its way. Whether you're practicing standing, seated, or exploring the different forms like the 108 moving meditation, sabre, low cup, maybe the sword, the principles are the same. It's whole body harmony, dynamic stillness, and purposeful movement. All right, so I'm going to dive into some concepts today that are going to take us on this journey. But before I do that, I want to just go to the intention of the Lucky Dragon tea. And I'm not going to highlight anything extra today, except to say that it's a green tea. It is a beautiful blend that comes from the top of the mountains. And green tea is so incredibly powerful for enriching us, bringing us high antioxidants, and a very mindful way to prepare tea, be involved with tea, sip on it, and include it in our day. And within this blend, I've added rose petals. And rose petals for me are just, they're so symbolic of love. The petals are in a heart shape. They smell incredible. And the texture of each of the different kinds of roses, it's soft and subtle, but all different. Each rose is different. And I just want to bring that to your attention because our moves in Tai Chi are a little bit different. And how we look at it is different than an exercise class or physical fitness. It isn't about that. They try to measure Tai Chi in that capacity, but I'm going to show you a little bit different today. And so that's what this tea is reminding me of. So I say slange to you. Best wishes. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Now that I've set that in place, all of you know that while you're listening to my podcast, I have set it up as a healing session for you. And as we go through some of these ideas today, I'm hoping that's going to spark some ideas for you to move forward with the way you think about movement, the way you think about your self-care, self-empowerment, and the activities you participate in. So let's dive in. So we're talking about circulation, bone marrow, bone density, blood. These are all things that they measure when you go to the doctors. And in Tai Chi, we have the opportunity to transform. So rather than waiting for results to come back, waiting for some kind of a plan to be put in place, or for a medication to start and you have to wait to see what the results are going to be, Tai Chi is instant. It's your participation right now, and it's how we are able to move forward. So I'm going to step back from the camera here, lower this down a little bit. I'm wearing my World Tai Chi and Qigong Day shirt for you today. And what I'm going to do is move myself back to share some concepts with you. So the very first one is going to be about the pressure on the feet. And when we stand on the feet to do activities, a lot of times we step into an activity and we might not push our way through an activity. But in Tai Chi, our movement patterns shift us from one foot to the other foot. We have 70% weight usually in one foot and 30 in the other as that transformation happens. But it's that massaging on the bottom of the foot, like when you go for reflexology treatments, and they're very specific on they target the different parts on the bottom of the foot. We're targeting that as we move through our feet. So I'm going to show you as an example. So if I put my feet together and turn one foot 45 degrees, I'm going to sink down into that leg, and then I'm going to place the other leg straight forward. And this is called a toyu. The toyu goes pushing up from the back leg, turning the body, squaring everything to the front leg, and then just providing a little bit of push forward down into that leg. So now I have 70% weight there and 30% in the back, and then I've shifted it. And that's that massage from one direction to the other. And it's that massaging action rolling through the foot that empowers our reflexes for grounding, centering, stability, gravity. It also is connecting us to the earth, and it's creating a spiral that goes down into the leg, spiral up out of the leg, spiral through the body, and then down into the other leg. And that spiral action is a result of the way that we do the movements in Tai Chi. Spiraling is how we can help the blood supply, we can nourish the blood, and how we can do that bone marrow washing. So that's a toyu. So those are, that's standing, moving the weight from one foot to the other. And through the 108 moving meditation, we have this opportunity to move ourselves back and forth for 15, 18 minutes, depending on how long the set takes, depending on how quickly or slowly you're doing it. And that constant massaging for that extent of time is really opening up circulation, lymphatic fluid movement, through the meridians, the fluid that runs through those lines of energy. It's just a whole approach to really moving things through the body. Okay, so now I sat down because let's look at another way that we spiral. So another exercise we do is a hands turning on. My hands are going to be making a 90-degree angle. My arm is away from my body, about a fist width. And my hands are in line with my shoulders, and I'm just going to turn the palms. Now we could do this standing as well, but I'm going to do it seated, just so you can get a better picture of me here. And we're going to talk about reciprocals. So when we place our arms in this position, If we get the correct positioning, shoulder blades open, and we now have a link to our spine, and we have a link down to our legs and our feet. So as I'm turning my hand, this could be my foot, this could be my ankle, this could be my shin. This can represent my hand, my wrist, and my forearm, but it can also represent my head, my neck, and my spine. And look at what we're doing with it. We're rotating. Every time we rotate, the tissue winds, it twists, it squeezes, and then it releases. And we have this opportunity to change how the tissue is functioning. Now we can go quicker, which is moving energy through, freeing up the tissue, anything's been too tight, and creating a conversation that brings all the tissue together into that one conversation. But we can also move slower, so a little bit more deliberate. This is going to go into the tendons, the ligaments, fascia, and also our awareness. Because no longer is it muscle memory, it now is very deliberate, and we can be aware of, as we turn, what does it feel like with each of those rotations. All right, so we could do that here. We can affect how it's going down the spine. We can connect how it's going down the leg. All right, we also have movement patterns that go through the body. So from one hip across to the opposite shoulder, might come back to go across to the opposite ear, could be going down to the opposite ankle. Those activities are spiraling and connecting larger groups. So organ systems, tissue related to those organ systems, and also the way that the whole body is moving as a unit. Now, if you watch, you will try to visually do that. So if I go like this and create this pattern for you, visually, you're going to see me doing some stretching. I stretched up, I turned, I stretched big, and then I stretched again here. That's what you'll see visually. You'll also see the pattern. But let me share with you a little bit about what's happening. I'm going to go back one step. The first movement that happens just before that one is step up to raise hands. There's this huge expansion that happens there, and then the hands come together. Now it looks like I expanded, so I'm going, but actually as I'm doing this, I can feel the insides expand and the breathing deepen. I can feel the shoulders open and the hips open. And then as the hands come in and they line up in this next position for step up to raise hands, as soon as my elbow comes in to drop down, all of my spine, all the muscles on the right side of my body have all lined up, and the left hand comes in and adds a little bit of a tweak to it. So we have that first bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and bring it down in front of my belly. So I've changed the tissue a little bit, but then what I'm going to do, it looks like I'm going to stretch out. But what I'm actually going to do is spiral through my body, and it looks like I extended my hands out. But what I did is I did this small rotation. There's a spiral there, and that's linking up all kinds of things internally. So now my hand goes to the bottom, and then it's going to sweep up while my other hand goes to the bottom. And that does look like a stretch, but what it's going to be doing is connecting the palm to the universe and palm to the ground. So we've made a connection. And then in here, there's a spine turn, and you'll watch how my hand drops and rotates. As I do that, my head, my neck, my spine, reciprocal, get to move together. in that little action. And that creates a change through the body, all in that direction, is coming through the feet as well. So we have white stork spreads his wings, finding your power. That lets go. And then it looks like I'm going to do a big circle and stretch with this hand, but actually it's responding to my belly, turning the other way, and softly my arm just floats out. They come in as my body lines up, and right here, a lovely stretch through my back, although it looks visually like I'm doing a stretch forward, but it's actually an opening through the spine. All of that has the spiral action, the connection, the integration of tissue going across. What does that mean for you? That means when you finish doing a Tai Chi movement, you might feel tingling in your fingertips. That's the blood circulating. That's the lymph moving. And that aliveness starts to come into the tissue. And it'll work its way up the arms, it'll work from the feet up through, and then our ideal is to be able to sense it and feel it within the core. So that's that spiraling bit from there. We have the push of the feet, so we have forward and backward. We have spine opening, which creates push in the feet again. So those sensors, even though we're seated, are constantly sending information back about the whole status of the body. So our circulation has improved, we've spiraled, and we've connected tissue. And that's given us the opportunity to rotate through the whole body, connecting from one hip across to the opposite shoulder as an example, from the back side to the front side. So our actions aren't all staying out here. Our actions, if I was going up like this, back hip to front hip on the other side. We could have back shoulder to front shoulder. We could have back of skull to ear. We have all these connections that are bringing things through dimensions. And our dimensions are side to side, front to back, up and down. These are ways that we know where we are in space and how our brain knows how to function because of the way we're moving and how we're moving within that space, all feeding the brain. So as you're thinking about exercise and the opportunity to develop your skills, consider how studying with someone like myself will help you to develop awareness and skill in the movements that is beyond visually trying to copy it with a fitness head on, but to really come into how can I change the tissue. How can I change the function of the body? And if there is a deficit somewhere or something that needs to change, how can I be participating in that rather than waiting for the test to come back, rather than waiting for the medicine to take in that it's going to help in a few months down the road. But actually, you're starting to make those changes and you're going to help that medicine find the right place, improve the condition in a fast way, so that you can have a greater recovery and greater health coming forward. So this is your participation in your well-being. All right, so I'm going to come forward and give a little bit to the last that I would like to discuss with you. And just thinking about one more little piece. And I came closer. And this is about how the joints open in the body. So as you're sitting on your sit bones, so you can feel the two bum bones, and you have a tailbone. So it's kind of like a little triangle that gets created. From the sit bone to the tailbone, there's some space. And in that space, it should be soft. So when you're sitting up straight, it should have this softness, this subtleness in there. And when that happens, all the joints in the body relax. If we're sitting at the computer and we're pushing forward, we're going to be closer to the pubic bone. We're going to be forward of the sit bones. That is not relaxed. If we go back into our chair and lean back, we're now sitting on the tailbone. That is closing off the cerebrospinal pump. It gets all of the fluid going up to the brain. We are stopping the way the spine is functioning. We put the head in a forward position, which changes the neck muscles. That changes how you digest emotions, how you think, how the emotions of empathy and sympathy come to be. All that is related to how you just changed your posture. So this idea of being upright, ears over top of the shoulders, softness is really, really important. Okay, so now the openness of the joints. When we take our hands and we put them palm towards palm, we can get this soft sponge in there. And when we close up the hands, we'll find an end point. But if we leave it open, there's this open vastness that happens in the tissue that can be really helpful for finding ways to relax and to let go. So I just wanted to bring that other idea into you. So now, as we wind down today, take a moment to tune into your breath. Can you feel the circulation that's awakened in your fingertips and your toes since I started sharing? And that tingling aliveness that might be coming up the spine? It's your body saying thank you. Tai Chi isn't just an exercise. It's a lifestyle of deep listening, subtle strength, and conscious regeneration. And this has been my passion for over 30 years. From classroom to conferences, standing form to the seated form, sabre to low cup to the 108 moving meditation, I've explored every nuance of this art, not just as a technique, but as a conversation with the body's wisdom. My geeky love for biomechanics and energetic wellness have led me here. And that brings me to you and to this moment where we get to choose movement as medicine. If you've enjoyed this exploration, I invite you to take the next sip of your Lucky Dragon tea and ask yourself, what vision are you creating? And how can you move with trust in the journey? Until next time, be well, move mindfully, and remember, the journey is the reward. Take care. Thank you for listening to Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell. There are a couple of resources I want to just point out. When you go to the website greenwellcenter.com, you'll have a pop-up window. That pop-up gives you the top 8 easy stress releasers that you can use every day. That's something you can put beside your computer, the bathroom mirror, beside the bedside table. A great resource. Also, my YouTube channel. It is full of playlists with all kinds of different ways that you can activate energy and bring vitality into your day. You can find that when you go to YouTube at Michelle Greenwell. And last, if you're a Linktree person, Linktree, linktr.ee/Greenwell Center. That has all my resources in one spot. Those are for intricate little things that you can't get everywhere. And it's a wonderful way for me to be able to share all the different aspects of the kind of work I do. So thank you for listening. Be sure to drink that tea. And if you want to have the tea blend that was shared in the podcast today, then be sure to check out capebretontea.ca. Have a wonderful day.